Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon. How you doing? Nice to meet you. I hope you're doing so very well. Today I'm going to be doing the telephone tag. I will leave the original creator of this tag linked down below, and I will also leave the creator that I am following off from. So in this tag, what you're meant to do is take the last book of a creator that done this tag, and then you match that with other books based on their cover, and you continue this. So you'll have 9 books and was it 10 books and 9 matches, I believe. Ashley's Reading Library's last pick was The Dead and the Dark by Courtney Gold. I've actually read this, which is why I chose to continue off of this book. And this is actually a really good supernatural story. I kind of like to compare this to if you're watching an episode of Supernatural, but instead of following the brothers, you're following like a young girl, but it gives the same kind of vibes. So in this, we're in Snakebite, Oregon, and teenagers are disappearing. Some of them are turning up dead. The weather isn't normal, and all fingers point to TV's most popular ghost hunters who have just come to town. So the main character is called Logan, and her dads are the TV show hosts of Paraspectors, and they come into Snakebite and all this creepy things start happening, and the town totally blames them for the creepy ongoings. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. So this cover has like two outlines of girls, and then like in this smoke you have like a house. It's purple and pink. I'm going to match up The Dead and the Dark with White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. This also has a girl on the cover and a house and smoke with purple accents. I will probably put digitals on the screen so you can see in more close proximity the similarities that I am comparing these books to, just because I feel like it would be easier. White Smoke follows Marigold, who moves to this new town, and the town is like getting gentrified, but it's like really run down. There's a lot of like spooky ongoings, and they move into this house, and the house is really creepy. Like things start happening in the house. Also, Marigold deals with a lot of generalized anxiety, and I really like that rep in this book. This was a really good book, and I do enjoy Tiffany D. Jackson's work. I will say the ending kind of let me down of this book, but apart from that, I really enjoyed this, and I would recommend it if you're looking kind of similar actually, and not only cover but in vibe. They're both set in like small town settings. They're both following like supernatural elements, creepy ongoings in this sort of isolated area, and they both follow really diverse and great characters. So this is actually really similar, not only in book cover but in vibe. Then moving on to White Smoke, I am going to pair this with Sleigh by Brittany Morris. This both are purple with a person on the cover, and I feel like they have the generalized vibe of like a flow with the colors and the person. So yeah, this is the cover that I am comparing this to. Sleigh is a really good book. It follows a character who creates this game online, and this game is for people of color, and it's so steeped in history, and it's just so refreshing. And the character obviously has to not only create this game but be the moderator, the creator, the designer, the troubleshooter. So she has her work cut out for her, but then this troll comes on and tries to ruin the game for everyone, and it delves deep into kind of racial overtones and what it's like to be someone that has a dream. It's a really good book, and I highly recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, so I highly recommend that one. Then for the next one, I am going with Sleigh to My Sister the Serial Killer. Again, this has a person on the cover. They're both wearing glasses. It's a dark background with like the person the main focus. So yeah, I'm feeling this vibe. I think I'm just like comparing these two because of the girl with the glasses, but I think it works. I think it works quite well. In My Sister the Serial Killer, we follow two sisters and one of them is a serial killer. You might have guessed. And this follows a very strange family dynamic where one sister is always cleaning up after the other sister's mess. And in this, she gets caught up in kind of essentially covering up murder. And it just follows how far you would go for family and what is considered too far. Is a very interesting story and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I think it's a very fast-paced read as well, so short, fast-paced. If you're looking for something that is family loyalty orientated with also a bit of thriller aspects, because it's not a mystery, because you know straight away that the sister is a serial killer. The next one may be a little bit of a stretch, but for this I'm going from My Sister the Serial Killer to Snot Girl Volume 1. Again, girl, glasses, but also there is like this lime green colour on My Sister the Serial Killer that's very prevalent in Snot Girl, and I feel like the aspects are there, even though it's completely different styles and completely different vibes. There is some aspects that cross over so well that I think this is a very interesting one, like, that I chose. I also really enjoy the graphic novel series Snot Girl. This is volume 1. In this we follow Lottie London. I believe that's her like stage name. She is a social media influencer and she has allergies, but she tries to hide like her real self from the world and portray just what she is online. And this kind of starts messing with her. She has to take medication in order to control her allergies, but then there's hallucinations, there's people that end up dead, there's a group of friends that are like friends. It's very interesting. Also, the artwork in this graphic novel series is absolutely beautiful and I highly recommend this if you're looking for a colourful, fun, modern story that's kind of a bit of everything. It's contemporary and modern with a bit of thriller mystery with a little bit of supernatural. Like, it has something for everyone, I believe, and it's also really fun to read. So again, I feel like in my head when I was writing this list, I feel like I was like, yes, that works so perfect, and now looking back on it I'm like, why did I pick this? But I'm gonna roll with it. And just, if you have any opinions down below, let me know. If you think any of these cross over well, or if you don't see it, like, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be really interested in someone else's opinion. But I'm matching Snot Girl with the Fallen in Love montage because the orange and like warm tones in Snot Girl go really well with the orange and warm tones in the Fallen in Love montage. There's also 2 characters drawn, so like it's drawing, it's like taking the warm tones of Snot Girl into this book. I think I'm just trying to justify it to myself now, but I see something here, and I want to know if you do too, so let me know. All I need to know about the Fallen in Love montage is it is a sapphic love story, and that is literally all I need to know. I have not read the synopsis for this. I bought it when it first came out. I still haven't read it, which typical me. Like, very rarely do I read books as soon as I get them. Considering though I've had this for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, it's pretty bad. I should probably read this, but that's all I need to know about it. I like to keep my like knowledge of mystery thrillers and romances to a minimum. I tend not to read like all of the synopsis when I want to read them, because I feel most of them follow like a certain roadmap, and I like to go in not knowing anything so that when I read it I get the best enjoyment out of it I can. So that is what I'm going for with this pairing. I actually have right here what I'm comparing it to. I own all of the books I've spoken about so far. I'm just too lazy to go get them because I'm in a rush, because I have to leave in my house in like half an hour. So like getting all the books out and then putting them all back is just going to be a bit too much in this time frame. So I am sorry, I will put digitals on the screen so you can see the comparison. For this one, I have the Fallen in Love montage and Ghosts That Ate Us, which I feel like works out really well. There's like, in the Fallen in Love montage, there's the orange and the deeper orange, the lighter orange, and I feel like this just encapsulates this really well as well. Like, there is all this warm tones and the red, the orange. I feel like the colors are just a vibe. And this sounds really good. This is, I actually just hauled this. This will be in my spoopathon vlog, because I hauled it in that vlog. And this says, maybe you read about it on Twitter, maybe a friend sent you a news clip, maybe you saw it on an episode of Spectral Journeys that night. You were flipping through the channels, unable to sleep. Maybe after reading the true story, you won't ever sleep again. On June 1st, 2017, 6 people were killed at a Burger City franchise off I-80 near Johnny, Iowa. It was the bizarre and gruesome conclusion to 9 months of alleged paranormal activity at the fast food joint, events popularly known as the Burger City Poltergeist. Burger City franchise, which I take it is kind of like Burger King, and there is paranormal activity going on, then there's murders that happen, and this is the look into the true story. I don't believe this is a true story that happened leading up to the events of this tragic accident. I have not read this, obviously. This is on my TBR now, and I'm so glad that I managed to purchase this. Next, I do have one easily accessible. I'm going with House of Earth and Blood. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm gonna put them all digitally because I feel like you'll be able to see the covers better. But I feel like, again, with the colors and the vibe, the reds, the like golden of the chips and burger, and then the gold and red of Crescent City, just, well, House of Earth and Blood, just matches, you know? Like, the colors are a vibe. And this is one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely adore this, if you could not already tell. I just, everyone should read it. Well, that's in the synopsis. I'm going with it, okay? It's in the synopsis. This follows Bryce Quinlan, and she is a party girl, and when one of her friends is killed and the killer is supposedly behind bars 2 years later, she then realizes that the murders are happening again, and the killer is not behind bars, so she is teamed up with Hunt Athler, Angel, that is very much not her friend at the start, but they decide to work together to find the killer and avenge her friend's death. This is so heartwarming, honestly. Like, I like having a visceral reaction to fantasy is not something that hugely happens to me. I feel like I have a more deeper reaction to contemporaries, just simply because they could happen. This destroyed me. I cried at the end of this. This was brilliant, and it's the first time I've ever cried at a fantasy book, so like, I'm a wimp. I cry at everything. So yeah, like, this means something to me, and I absolutely love it, and you should read it if you haven't already. You probably have. I also want to just be like, Fairy Loot has exclusive editions of the first 2 books coming out, and I have literally put money into my savings so that I can get them. I'm like, I need them. It will mean that I have 3 copies of Sky and Breath and 2 copies of Crescent City. Well, House of Earth and Blood. Do I care? Not in the slightest. I need them. I need them in my life. The next one is comparing House of Earth and Blood to Cemetery Boys by Adrian Thomas. I mean, it's slightly darker scale, but there's a moon, there's a person like draped in red, there's like gold accents. Yeah, I just feel like this works, and it gives off the same vibe. And this is on my TBR. I have not read this one, and it does sound good. It says Radriel has summoned a ghost and now he can't get rid of him. When his traditional Latinx family has problems accepting his gender, Radriel becomes determined to prove himself a real brujo. With the help of his cousin and the best friend Maritza, he performs the Quinces ritual, himself and then sets out to find the ghost of his murdered cousin Miguel and set it free. However, the ghost he summons is actually Julian Diaz, the school's resident bad boy, and Julian is not about to go quietly into death. He's determined to find out what happened and tie up some loose ends before he leaves. Left with no choice, Radriel agrees to help Julian so that they can both get what they want. But the longer Radriel spends time with Julian, the less he wants him to leave. I mean, ghosts, romance, witches, like, this is right up my street, and I also think it goes really well. I still need to read this, and I am so bad because I bought this when it came out, still haven't read it, and then I just requested the Sunbearer Trials on NetGalley, which is also from this author, without having read this. So my thought process is, if I get approved for the Sunbearer Trials, then I'm not allowed to read it until I read this one, which will kind of force me to read this one quicker, because I'm really bad for that. And I feel like because I went on a red tangent, like going from like orange into red, I feel like I've just kind of stuck on the red tangent, because I'm comparing Cemetery Boys with Mina and the Undead. They both have moons. They are both very red. They both have like this yellowy gold, and they both have a person on the cover. Yeah, like I feel like I'm vibing with this, okay? Like, because I went on a red tangent, it kind of grew a mind of its own, and all of the rest of them are red. And Mina and the Undead is one I actually have read. This follows Mina, and she goes to New Orleans to spend time with her sister Libby. Libby has a whole group of friends, and they all work together. So when Mina shows up, she kind of wants to rekindle her relationship with her sister, but she needs to find her place in this group of friends. Then people start getting murdered, and they have to figure out why they're getting murdered. This is a really good supernatural kind of like throwback story. I don't know why, but when I read this, I got like the Vampire Diaries vibes, and I don't know if that's because there's diary entries in here that kind of remind me of Stefan, and there's like, New Orleans is like the originals, and yeah, this just made my heart really happy, and I felt all the nostalgia. There's some references to my favorite horror movies, and I just think this was really well done. The characters were great, so yeah, I really enjoyed this, and this is my final pick. So I'm going to tag Sephi over at Whatever Reads. So if you do decide to do this tag from me, then you have to continue on from Mina. So you have to find something that is similar to Mina. Also, if you would like to do this tag, feel free to. I am officially tagging you, and I hope to see your videos, and let me know if you do make a video, and if you start with Mina, that would be great. I had so much fun with this. I wish I had more time to film so I could take out the books and make it a bit more cohesive, but unfortunately time rushes and things to do. So I thank you so very much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my picks, what your opinions are. I would love to know, and I hope you are staying safe, happy and healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Pick it up from the top, hit restart. So far it's been so hard.